Hi guys, welcome to video number 10, the BB36 beginner guitar course. In this video we're going to be talking about the Capo or Capo. This is a really helpful tool for guitar players that will help you increase the pitch of your guitar quickly and easily. This is the most common design. It's a spring action Capo, so you squeeze it, it opens, you let go, and it clamps down. There are some that are strap-ons, there are some that are sliding Capos, but this is the one you will usually see in online stores or physical stores. The more expensive ones have some kind of tensioner here, so if it's too tight on your fretboard, you can loosen it. If it's too loose, you can tighten it. But the common ones don't have that because they're universal capos, which work for most guitars anyway. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're buying a capo is that sometimes your fretboard is not going to have that normal like a curve, because most fretboards have a very slight curve. That's why if you notice on this capo, there's a very slight curve here. It's not completely straight, but some guitars are completely straight. And if you have one of those guitars, you have to get yourself a straight capo, something that's completely flat. Okay, because I had a straight guitar before and I bought a capo like this, and only the first two and the last two strings were pressed down on properly. The middle two strings, they wouldn't ring out, so I had to improvise my capo, get it to work. But if you want to save yourself from that, then make sure you either have a slightly curved fretboard or a flat one, and buy the correct capo for that. Okay, so to put the capo on your guitar, it's really easy. You just squeeze down on it, you go from up, you go down, and then you release. Okay, it's really easy to tell which one is front, because this is the front is the longer, flatter side, and the back is a shorter, curved side, so it fits the back of the neck here. Okay, so again, it's up, down, release. Okay, some people do it from under here, but then the most common, and I find it easier if it's from up, down, release. Okay, and just like barring with your finger, you want to put the capo as close to the metal strip here as possible. So for example, you're putting it on the 3rd fret. You want to keep the capo as close to that 3rd metal strip as possible, so that you're sure the strings are going to ring out. Because if you have them back here, just like with our finger, the capos won't have a hard time pushing down on those strings. Okay? And another thing to keep in mind when it comes to the capo is that wherever the capo is placed, the next fret is going to be your fret number 1 or your 1st fret, and then number 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, so this is not anymore our fret number 1. So if you have it way up here, this now becomes our fret number 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, because these strings here are now useless. You don't play them. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind when you're using the capo. Okay, so now let's talk about how a capo is useful and how you can use it in your guitar playing. So there are two main reasons I can think of. The first one is that it makes transposing very quick and very easy. And transposing is basically changing the pitch higher or lower to match your singer's voice, for example. So let's do an example here. Suppose you're playing a song with the chords G, E minor, and D. But then we find out that your singer has to sing it in a higher key because it just doesn't suit their voice. So now you're going to have to play a G sharp, an F minor, and a D sharp. Okay, so without the capo, you're going to have to learn 3 different chord shapes. So that'll be G sharp, F minor, and D sharp. Okay, but with the capo, you don't have to learn 3 additional chords, and you don't have to learn a whole new sequence. So supposing there are a lot of chords, you'll have to learn a lot more than just 3 chords. With the capo, you don't have to do that. You just stick it in, and you play the exact same thing, but it's now on a higher key. And supposing a little later on you find out that she needs to sing it even higher, you just go up, you just go up, you go up as high as you need to go, and it'll always be the same chord shapes. Okay, so as you can see, it makes it extremely quick, extremely easy to transpose. And even if you already know all your bar chords and transposing chords is not going to be a problem for you, there are going to be times where you need a capo to replicate the sound of a picking pattern, because picking patterns are not as easy to just transpose. So let's do a picking pattern here with our open chords, for example. So we take that. If we're going to transpose that picking pattern without a capo, that's going to take a while. We're going to have to figure out the chords first and how to play it in a way that it'll sound similar. But with a capo, we can just stick the capo anywhere, any key, any pitch, and play the exact same pattern, and it's still going to sound like if you have a signature finger picking sound that you've come up with, you can just transpose that. It's going to sound the same but in a different key. Versus if you learn it, all the different bar chords might not sound exactly the same. So as you can see, it's really easy to just change the key of your picking pattern without having to totally redo the whole picking pattern. Okay, and another reason why I think it's important to learn the capo is because you can produce sounds with the capo that you cannot produce any other way. Just one example is that if you put it up here and you do basic open chords, you can produce this really bright and warm sound that if you're playing bar chords, it won't really sound the same. If you play that using bar chords, same key, it's not going to sound the same. So using a capo can produce some unique sounds that you can't get any other way. So that's another reason why you should learn how to use a capo. Now, many people say that using a capo is cheating. They say that it's only for beginners, it's only for those who don't really know how to play the guitar, and I don't believe that's true. The only reason why that might be true is if your goal is to impress somebody with how well you can play really difficult chords, really difficult picking patterns, how quickly you can figure things out. If that's your goal, to impress people that way, then sure, using a capo is not going to really help you reach that goal. But if you have other goals, if your goal is to make good music, if your goal is to write songs, if your goal is to perform with your band, then a capo is going to be really helpful to you. It's a good tool that's going to help you do a lot of things. So I say learn how to use a capo, learn how to use it well, to utilize it, instead of learning how to live without it. Okay, so yeah, if you learned something here today, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when a new video comes out. And yeah, if you want to see the other videos on this course, there's a link to the playlist on the description below. And yeah, thank you for watching again. I'll see you guys in the next one.